But just welcome you guys today to this lovely event. And we are going to take our seats, but we're going to do it in a very special way. We're going to dance our way to the seats. And I want to see your dance moves. I want to see your dance moves, I want you to pull faces. If it's a cultural face you're going to pull on, I want to see, I want to know where you're coming from with that face and that dance. So we're going to start off, I'm MC Raz, and then we'll do the proper introductions after we've sat down. So DJ, take it away. Remember, it's live on YouTube and all the social media platforms. Thank you. Come on guys, let's go. Do you want me to beat? Come on guys, come on. Whatever. You don't have to be a brilliant dancer. Throughout the day, we're going to get more better moves, aren't we? So I'm MC Vaz, and I'm just going to guide you through today. Thank you all for coming. We're expecting more people to come, but thank you all for coming. So we're going to start off right now. We're going to start off right now with the discussion panel, yeah? And there's a few questions I've got here. I've got a list, yeah? And today, the panel is all about supporting the black boy child. And today, we've chosen to focus our discussion on the black boy child in our community. We recognize that many of our young boys are facing unique challenges, and we believe it's important for the whole community to come together, share insights, and explore ways we can offer meaningful support and guidance. In Africa, we say, it takes a community to raise a child. It does, doesn't it? It takes a whole community. And in cases where so many black boys are struggling, involved with the system issues in the school and in the community, Mara actually thinks it's now up to our community to put our mind and resources together, isn't it, Mara? Because you wrote this is so beautiful, isn't it? To see how we can help our young black boys. These are tomorrow's leaders and parents, and we need to play a part in shaping their future. Firstly, we look at early influences and identity. As leaders and volunteers, what can you tell us about black boy child in our community? I'm putting it up to you guys. Ed?
I wasn't expecting to be speaking to you all, but I might as well. Basically, I came up with this idea of the young black boy child who's being ignored. I think the system picks up on him, and the society picks on him, thinking that he's going to be a gangster, he's going to be doing wrong things, doing drugs and stuff like that. An 18-year-old boy, he got stopped when I was 15. He's taller than me now, but he got stopped and got searched because he did something of somebody that the police were looking for, and this kind of distraught him. But the good thing is he has always been in football, so his social circle is always about sports. Nothing to go to the park to get drunk or do other things. And I think that's my end goal I'm looking at for the young black boys, even any young boys, to have sport. I'm a football coach. I'm level C UEFA conditioning. And what I'm looking for is to get a place using the community where we can say that's our place, where we can have a football team, all age groups, girls, boys, anyone from the minorities, even those who are British, English, but it's open for everyone. But I'm willing to take my time to use that to get the boys off the streets. I know a few boys from Zimbabwe specifically who I used to play football with. They've gone the wrong way, the wrong path. They're involved in robberies. Now they've got no prospects in their lives because of that. And obviously, when I speak to them, I ask them what went wrong. They just say, oh, they think I'm already going to wrong anyway. I'm like, obviously, don't fall for that. What do you need to stop you from going that path? And they all say, there's nothing for us. Even when they try to join football clubs or any social clubs, they've got fear of being pushed away. And I've been involved in football for the past 15 years. And I'll probably say from the teams I've coached, apart from my son, I think I've only had 2, maybe 3 black boys in my teams. And I look around in all the short farm brothers, the local areas, even the army, we've got a lot of people from ethnic minorities. But what's stopping them from joining those football teams or any sports? Like my son now, look at him, he's 18, he drives already. He's going, our principal going for him, he's working. He goes out, yes, to enjoy himself, but he doesn't cause any trouble. So I'm thinking that kind of social structure helps young people to have sort of something to say. They might not be professional players playing for Chelsea or Manchester United, but it gives them friends and the parents. I don't know what you all think, where we can help each other and help them. And as I said, I'm willing to be part of that team that takes that on. Also, the main thing now is getting a venue for us, because we don't have anywhere we can belong. I'll drive around Farnborough all the show. I see a lot of places now that have turned into Nepalese places. They've got their signs there. They've taken over the place. So they're using their community in those places, whereas us, we don't have anything. Even us saying there's a meeting, it takes 2-3 months to organize that. And it's frustrating for us who are trying to make people come together. I think that's all I can say for now. Maybe I've said too much or maybe not enough, but that's all I've got. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eddie. So, yeah, anyone wants to add to that?
Hello, I'm Orwin Pereira. I'm the vicar here at St. Michael's Church. But in a past lifetime, I was actually the CEO of a charity called Youth Entertainment Studios in London, and I was working in West London with teenage gangs. And at that time, in the 90s, late 90s and right up to 2006, we had one slaying of somebody every 58 minutes. It had become a horrendous time. And so I met and worked with a lot of young, particularly black boys in that area, and got alongside them and went and lived as part of my sort of mission work, went and lived in the estates as a family. And we got, the unique thing of that project was that it was a studio, it was a multimedia recording studio, it was an ex-BBC sound studio, and we turned it into a multimedia digital lab and got all the different gangs working together and not killing each other, and they then progressed onto different jobs. But so that's a bit of history. It won the Champions of Respect in 2006, and at one point we had 2,000 youth involved in that project in West London, and we were able to hire the Shepherd's Bush Empire and have a showcase of talent, which was such a big event for those teenagers and filling them with pride. From my observation, I'm a school governor. My observation is that young black boys come into the school at a very young age 5 or younger, and they are all of the same level with the other children, or some they may be slightly, some may be advanced, but they're generally of an equal level. But during the course of their school, the outcomes change, and I've noticed that the number, because I sit on disciplinary panels and things, but I see that they started out and I was full of hope and expectation. I had high expectations of these children, but I'm then seeing them at the end not achieving those hopes or expectations I had for them, and constantly being disciplined or facing some kind of problem and treated as problem children. And yet I know that their parents are very aspirational, so it doesn't seem to fit some kind of stereotype, and all I can say is that something is going wrong when they're coming in at those really early stages in education where formation happens. I know of many boys who are in local football teams, and the psychological experiences they have to face, I think my friend here was sharing that being a coach, but their psychological experiences they face in playing in local leagues, or they are not encouraged to rise or to achieve that, and they are definitely focused into sports, and the assumption is you're going to go to sports and or you're going to go into the entertainment industry. I have hardly heard anyone say, you're a chief executive, you are a leader. I hardly see that. And yet I recognize this is a CEO of a company. This is a person who's got those leadership skills already in them at a very young age 5. They're leading other children. They are advanced, they're articulate, and yet it doesn't translate. The progression is very limited. My observation is that there are lots of microaggressions against them, if you want to use a different word or a different phrase, that's the only way I could say it. There are stereotypes, there are racist language and views, although not directly expressed to the children, but they are pigeonholed into what they can do. In terms of the project I was running in London, what happened is nearly every single, it was nearly all boys, nearly 99.8% you get, they were all boys. And I'd say, what do you want to do? I want to be a rapper. Okay, let me tell you the bad news. You're not going to make it. The industry is very rigged. You're not going to make it. But I want you to think of something else. I want you to think of another role you can do. I want to challenge you to think even bigger. Why don't you own a record company? Forget about, don't just think about, I want to be a rapper, because you need to have the talent, and yes, you've got a talent, but you're not that talented compared to what the market wants. So we found that when they were given the opportunities to exercise leadership and actually encourage, they went on to do incredible things, start TV stations and these were, I've got no GCSEs, I'm a NEET, not in employment, and actually the employment agency was an outsourced, there was an organization called Connections, and an outsourced company that would refer these boys to us. I went to this party and I took about 50 of them, and someone at at the party said, "Oh, if anyone's brought you here on false pretenses to this meeting at church, you have my permission to murder them." And I'm thinking, okay. And he was going, anybody got a crime? And I'm sitting with 5 of them who had been in prison for manslaughter already, so they already had criminal records by the age of 23. And it's so that the trajectory was just so unfortunate, a series of unfortunate events that led to those catastrophes, which could have been stopped right at the beginning, which is what happened, because after the project, where they worked in companies rather than in gangs, they were given projects to do, and it was sort of like The Apprentice. They would then work on these projects and they'd come up with a marketable product which they could sell commercially. That led to them thinking of, wow, I can actually, don't have to be in crime, I can actually do this for a long-term job in progression, and I could start various companies and get them going. So what I'm really trying to say is that the impact of racism in its different guises, whether it's structural, and it is there, it's not just, expecting some kind of skinhead guy with tattoos coming up and speaking to you, but actually it is endemic, it is institutionalized in our structures and systems, and within the culture around. Not to assume that black children, particularly black boys, will either be good at sports or they'll go into entertainment, without the actual idea that this child, the gifted child, with the right encouragement, with the same level of encouragement, will actually flourish. This could be a scientist, a chief exec, could be a social leader of various kinds. And that's my observation. My role in the church is to spot talent like that and develop that leadership. So I feel I have a very privileged position, because I am a governor at school, but I'm also, as a vicar here, I can spot leaders and then encourage them into taking positions of leadership and ensure that they are going to be developed, that talent is developed. I think that if we have more representation, people say, I don't know how many of you get a lot about DEI, and they say things like, this has come from America, but they say to me things like, oh, well, it's a DEI employment. And I say, what do you mean by that? And they say, well, it was not necessarily the best person for the job, was it? And I say, yes, there is. That person is the best person for the job. It is illegal to employ someone just to fit a quota who doesn't fit the job. It's totally illegal. And I have to say to them, you better show me that, because I am going to disclose this. If you're telling me your organization has been using DEI like that, thank you very much, because I'm going to reveal and disclose this to the authorities, and your company will end up in court. So, and that poor recruit will be taking you to a tribunal. So I'm very happy to do that. And then they say, oh no, maybe we did do a proper recruitment. But representation, and I have to say this because we're a Church of England that is facing this big issue of racial justice right at this moment. It's very topical. And many people say, oh, but we have a representative. So I hear the argument. I sit on the racial justice committee at our church, and I hear people say, oh yes, but all we need is representatives. If we have somebody there, that's great. Okay, that's good if you have a representative. It's not enough. It's got to be embedded. The whole racism has got to be removed. The structural, the systemic, the cultural expectation has got to be completely removed, eradicated from the system. It's not just about, oh, I can see somebody there who's a black face on our posters. No, I want to see them leading. I want to see them taking an authoritative role within our society, which is the gifts they have, and they flourish. And I think once we have that, we will be changing the outcomes for our children, for black boys, but not just them. I think it spreads right across the entire strata of our societies, because the same things are impacting white working class boys. I see the same things there as well. And I think I probably talked too much now, so thank you very much for watching.
Thank you very much. Great points there, and I could relate because I've got my son as well. He's now 23, and I've got my nephew who's just moved from Zimbabwe. So it's quite interesting, you know, everything that you said. I'm going to call upon our next. I'm going to just bring the microphone. Yeah, if you could come forward, please. Give him a round of applause for his message.
I don't I need this, but anyway. Good afternoon, everyone. What I'm going to do, just to introduce myself, my name is Pastor Malcolm Cummins, and I'm the pastor of the NTCG Aldershot Community Church in Victoria Road, 83 Victoria Road, if you're not doing anything tomorrow at 10:30. Okay. I'm going to call my wife, actually, just to come and contribute as well. So more, if you can join me. It's really interesting as I was listening to our speakers, and I was trying to think, my history is that I moved here in 2009, 2010, grew up in Peckham. Sorry. Grew up in Peckham, South East London, Catford, Lewisham, those areas. And so I understand clearly black culture. I understand street culture as well. One of the benefits that I've had, and I was sitting down thinking, I'm trying to identify, certainly with black boys that I know, that I've pastored, that I've spoken to. I'm trying to find out, do I identify with those issues that are raised? I'm not saying that those issues aren't there, because they are there. We have a son who's 23 years old, and when we moved up, initially there were some challenges. I think the school, and maybe some schools to a certain degree now, don't understand the young black boy. Just don't understand it, so they probably try and shift them, as Reverend Norwood is saying, to a certain direction. But one of the things that I have noticed is that the black boys that I've come across in Aldershot that I've known, the church makes a massive difference to their upbringing. And Christian parental influence makes a massive difference to their upbringing. When we have a Sunday school, we have Sunday school programs, so it's not an unusual thing to have black boys and black girls, but black boys is the kind of context we're talking in, engage in public speaking. They learn that if it's reading a passage of scripture, if there's speaking out on Mother's or Father's Day, they learn about public speaking from that film. They learn about speaking to a mass of people, and they learn that in church, so that when they go to school and do that, they're not afraid. Because, listen, if I could do it in front of a large congregation in church, I could do it in front of some people at school. And I want to kind of emphasize the importance of that Christian foundation in the home. It means that the young black boy has, when their identity is challenged, when they are criticised and have that jokes, and again, as a black person living in Rushmoor, you can understand that yes, there is racism. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's overt. But because you've had that identity, and certainly that Afro-Caribbean identity, indwelled into you as to who you are, that God made you as who you are. God made you in His image. God made you because He loves you. He made you how He wants you. You need to love yourself. Then it really helps you if anyone challenges on, you back this or that and the other. So I think I would stress that in my experience, Christianity and the Christian foundations really helped. I think one of the challenges that we have is that people, my friend was talking about how we get together. I think one of the challenges that we have as black people is actually trusting and working together, trusting each other. And we may talk about what other ethnicities or cultures do, but they know the importance of working together. Maybe for us as black people, we are more concentrated on what's happening in our own circles. And so therefore, we can be quite insular and don't think of the bigger picture. And I think at the point when, as black people, we start to think, do you know what, let's do something for our wider community, then I think you'll see things change. And there's also that other issue that, particularly in Rushmoor, that I also believe that as Afro-Caribbeans, we've probably been in Rushmoor since the 1950s, 1960s. And that means by now, a lot of people are integrated into the life in Rushmoor. It's not unusual to see, for example, mixed race relationships, because that is the next generation, because they've integrated in schools, they've integrated in the community, they've integrated with their neighbours. And so therefore, sometimes you don't necessarily, some people may not see that need to have that strong black identity. But I still have said that I still think it's important that we teach our children about their black identity, about their black history. And that's why black history is very important. I mean, to be honest, we should be focusing on black history throughout the year. It should be a thing throughout the year, not just focusing on 1 month. But that's up to us as a community, that's up to us as individuals to do that. The schools are not necessarily going to do it. Organisations are not necessarily going to do it. But we need to take up that mantle. I don't know if my wife wanted to share something.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my husband and I were just talking, and as he said, looking at it, you know, black culture has got so many different dimensions, and he referred to the culture within churches, the culture, the street cultures, and there are other elements to it. There's a different culture, an African culture, there's a Caribbean culture, and all of these have an impact on the identity of black boys. But what I would say is that within each culture, within British culture and every other culture, one of the challenges that we face is that when we see difference, sometimes we are afraid and we don't connect. And that particularly may impact relationships within schools, where traditionally, particularly at primary school level, you will have very few male teachers, you will have very few black teachers. And so it can create a tension where they don't understand specific cultures. But what I think would help each and every one of us is that we take the time to understand each other and take the time to get to know one another beyond our cultures, as human beings, as children of God, and demonstrate kindness and love that we would like other people to show us. And that in itself is going to make a difference. We're going to give everyone an opportunity. We're going to show them the love that we want to experience. And hopefully, if we are the village that my friend talked about, you know, we can be the agents of change. So those are the things that I wanted to share.
Thank you very, very much. I liked, you know, everything that you spoke about, and I find that having lived in Aldershot for a long time, a lot of boys don't know where to go. It's great when there's a church, like Ed said. There's nowhere that the Nepalese have centers where they know I can knock on the door on such and such a day. I can go there, the door is open. And I think we really need that for the, you know, for the, not only the black boy, but for all the black children in the community. Because look at this event, you know, it's about trusting each other, like you said. You know, as black people, we don't trust each other. Hence why communication even takes longer for an event like this. And I'm going to I'm passing the mic today, so I'm going to come to this gentleman. You can introduce yourself when you go up.
Praise. Wow.
Not right
I won't hide. Thank you very much, Lady Maya, for organizing this program for the black community, which is very, very, very important. And And as all of them have spoken, there's always that great challenge upon our children, and that has always been the burden of all black parents. And we have a lot to do for our children. The struggle that they face is from the school, because that is where they start life straight away. And that is where the challenge is. When they go there, they will either see or find themselves, or at least if they are fortunate, 2 or 3 of them in the whole school. It's a challenge. And again, too, the trust is not there, where again, it's we coming from we parents, we don't even let them know that, look, when you see your fellow black person, it's the brother and sister you see, so that they can also, have somebody to stand with them, so that if there's any challenge, they can, have encouragement for themselves, because encouragement is very, very, very important. Our children need it when they come back from school, and if they don't have the confidence to speak to parents, so that there's a lot of issues that they are dealing within them, and then we find that our children become the victims of not wanting to go to school. Not that they don't want, but because of the challenge they face. They will face it from their own class mates, friends. They will face it from teachers. They will face it from even the environment itself that they get themselves in. You see, my personality is that I always try my best to let my children know, as Pastor was saying, that look, letting them know the identity, who they are. First, you're a Christian. First, you're a child of God. And a child of God, you see things differently than the way the ordinary person sees life and understands life. That we are all equal, but again, don't forget that even as you stand there, you may be taller than somebody, but of the same age. You see, so we let them know all of these things, and then again, encourage them that, with life, not everybody will like you. You see, people will like you for certain reasons, people will not like you also for what? Certain reason, and you need to understand it. But the thing that you need to know is that walk with truth. You see, walk with truth. Because if there's any challenge that you are going to face, people will tell you black people to be, black people, children to be people, they don't tell the truth. They are always hiding things. That is why always we can find it out. They stop and check always on the black people, because they think that they always have something to hide. But that is not the case. So we as parents also need to help our children. The trust. We need to trust ourselves. And we need to also share that love among ourselves. Because it's very, very, very important. You see, very important. And when these things are missing, our children will always be struggling. Will always be struggling. They come back from school, what they've gone through, what has weighed them down, makes them tired, and we think everything is fine, and it is like something has happened, we don't even know. So we need to help our children and also letting them understand that, look, we are your parents, this is your family. Anything, don't hide it from us as parents. Always at times I get, calls from the teachers asking, the first thing that they will ask is that, oh, are you religious? I said, why do you ask? Because what they see is that, oh, your children, they emulate that type of faith that they know. And I asked the teachers, are you also a religious? They say, no. They said, how do you know? He says, so that means they even know what it means to be somebody when somebody is has faith, or somebody is religious. They know it. So we need to let the children now, the children of today know that, look, there's nothing to be ashamed to be seen as a Christian child. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Believe it, have that confidence, and let even people know that because of that, you are different. A teacher walks in the class and said to the class and said, oh, she's not feeling well. And because the school is a faith school, she said, can any of the children pray for her? And he said, my son stood up and said, I will pray for you. Because I see my father doing it. I see my father praying for us. And the teacher said, she was really amazed that alone, the kind of strength that he gave her was even enough. So we need to let our children know that, look, they are also very powerful. In the little things they will do, they believe themselves, they see themselves. We know it's a challenge for them, but we can also make a great impact in their lives. As Pastor said, faith is very important. Faith is very important. At times, you see, today because of where we have come, we all come here because we want to work, and then we downplay the faith system. But we know that our faith in God, that spirit of the Holy Spirit working with us, will really make a difference in our lives, and it will help our children. Thank you.
That's great, and I love the shirt, eh? Okay, thank you so much for that. I'm going to go on to another person. You lady over here. Yes. Good.
Thank you. Well, my name is Rachel, and I was privileged enough to be here last night at the Interfaith Community Supper, and as a result of that, I came along today. And I really didn't know much about the event, but I can, in hearing what you're all saying, I can certainly reflect on my own personal position as a mother, raising children of being part of a children with mixed heritage, and some of the challenges that can bring. And conversely to the children that you're talking about, black boys, my girls are white children, but they have an Islamic background, and that can also bring with it challenges. And I think that's, and I just wanted to sort of share that with you, and to say that sometimes, there can be sort of hidden, just like there are hidden, some things are hidden, so can mixed race sometimes be hidden. And so I think, especially in this, in this day and age when we have, a very multiracial society, it's easy to draw stereotypes, and it's also easy to miss something that that can be going on. Sort of people's home backgrounds and things don't necessarily reflect through in those children at school. And I think it's just about being aware of so many differences and just being respectful of those, and nurturing those as well. So that's what I would like to offer to the conversation today. Thank you.
Very good points, very good points. And now because I got this, my son is 23, and I wish I was part of this right at the beginning, because he's kind of, before I go to the next speaker, he has had trouble figuring out who he wants to be in life. He gave up university, but now he's a really good boy, but because coming from a single parent, and I'm the only guide with 3 other girls in the family, it was very, very difficult for him. But he's come up amazing, and I wish he'd gone to your football club, Ed. You've seen my son, haven't you, around, and he's also mixed race, so it's the struggle of finding out where exactly you belong. And I think those are things that I've learned being a single parent, and now I'm raising my nephew again, who's just come from Zimbabwe. It's that, at least now I know which direction to go, to the church, football, and other peers that are here. So thank you so much for today. I'm going to go to my next speaker.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Brought my notes with me. I like to read. My name is Catherine Jenga. I am the founder of Amani Women's Empowerment and Support Organization. I am also the safeguarding officer in this church, and I'm also a board member, Board of Governors at St. Michael's Infant School. I am the safeguarding board governor. Why am I telling you all these things? Because I am also a therapist. And what do we like talking about during therapy? Our emotions. So I am also a mom of 2 boys, so I will also be speaking from experience. Experience I've learned raising my boys, Melvin and Nathan. I'm sure they will be, Mom, did you have to say our names? Yes, I gave back to you, so I have the right. So anyway, my opening message is supporting the emotional health of our boys isn't just about preventing harm. It's about helping them to thrive. It's about letting them know they are loved, seen, affirmed, and allowed to be fully human. I must say, parents, especially parents of black boys, mothers, fathers, we like to raise our boys as if they're not humans, as if they're robots. So, coming from a therapist point of view, I have people who come to see me, and I know this. Coming from a parent point of view, I also once raised my boys like that. I thank God I got the revelation that they need to be who they are. So we often talk about protecting our boys. And I'm not just talking about black boys, I mean every other boy who also becomes a man later in life. But emotional safety is just as vital as physical safety. Many black boys rarely experience spaces where they can express their emotions without judgment. Let's be honest, we like to judge them. Be tough, you're a man, man up, men don't cry. We do all that, you know. From a young age, they are taught to be strong, tough, and to hide their emotions. And they hide these emotions. They learn how to wear a mask before understanding who they truly are. So this comes with cost. It will cost us as a parent, them as a human being. When we silence emotions, we silence their humanity. Because after all, we are, as a Christian, God created these emotions, didn't He? He did. We also hear in the Bible, God got angry. Could we say that was not an emotion that He had? We also hear those who speak Holy Spirit, don't grieve the Spirit. Don't we say that, madam? Don't we? Don't grieve the Spirit. So God also has emotions. Yeah? So why are we telling our boys that they cannot have emotions? If the person, the Creator has emotions, why are we telling boys that they cannot have emotions? And even if you're not a Christian, you have those emotions. Why are we telling our boys that they cannot have emotions? So this teaches our boys that emotions are weakness. Isn't that what we say? A man with emotions is a weak man. Well, I know some people who are in the military, and what do they do in the military? You have to toughen up, you have to man up, isn't it? So, and these are messages that follow them into adulthood. A boy who learns it's okay to cry, talk, and ask for help grows into a man who heals through pain instead of hiding it. Remember, I always tell my friends and my colleagues, we're not just raising boys, we're raising men, we're raising husbands, we're raising fathers. So if I was a young man, they were taught that they cannot show their emotions. And this man grows up to have daughters who we thought they should have emotions. So how is this man going to deal with his daughters who have no emotions? Or even his sons, who after all, when a little child is small and can show his emotions, will cry. But you as an adult, man up, toughen up, oh well. So how can we support them? First, let's encourage conversations at home, in schools, in our community spaces. Let's replace man up with talk to me. It is okay to talk to me. Let them express fear, sadness, confusion, or joy. I remember one time I asked my son, I did my counseling course at Waverley Abbey College in Farnham. And when I got to learn all this, from my young mother, I knew about affirming my boys, and having friendships. But I didn't know about allowing them to express who they are completely. So I remember when I went to, during my course, and I'm having all this revelation, and it's never too late. If you haven't done this is something that you can redo, even at whatever age, anyway. So, and I asked my son one time, my young son, he's 19 now, he's in uni. He was, I think, in primary school at the time, and I asked him, so, when you come to me and you sort of express anger, and I'm like, what are you being angry for? And I'm not receptive of you being angry. What do you do? And my children, they're honest with me. And he said, Mom, I just go to my room and kick the bed. That was an eye-opener for me, you know. I go and punch the bed. That was an eye-opener for me, you know. And I will not lie to you that I did my counseling course years ago, it may be a few years, but from that time I started working with the emotions. Remember, I wasn't very close about it, but I started working with them. And I have a 25-year-old right now, and sometimes I challenge him, and we like to do African mother thing, and he says, oh, well, I was taught that I can be honest, I was taught that I can express myself, and it's the truth. Because if I can express myself as a woman, why is it wrong for my son to express himself? And if I'm training him that he can't express himself, how is he going to be with his wife or with his children? So another thing, so let them express fear, sadness, confusion, or joy without judgment. Affirm them daily. Our boys need to hear or to know that they are loved. Let them not go and look for love in the gangs and in the other places where they are being shown that they are appreciated, you know, they are welcome, you know. Let them know that they're enough. They don't have to go and find this identity we're being told about from other places. Let it come from the values we have, the beliefs we have. You as a parent, you as their mom, you as their dad. They don't have to prove their worth. You already have it because we're all born with self-worth, you know. You already have it. You've been a human being. You already have worth, you know. You don't have to go and look for it from somewhere else. You're allowed to feel, to dream, to be. Affirmation shapes self-worth and emotional confidence. It reminds them that they belong, not just in survival, but in softness and in excellence. So, let us also normalize mental health conversations with them. Well, this is a bit where most people don't like, but let's talk about therapy. You know, if they don't want to come to me for therapy, go to their pastor, go to Alwyn, go to him. And also, we as a community, let's build these spaces where young people can come. I see in London, they have a lot of places where young people go for boxing, they go for that. You know, that's the way we'll be able to gather, to bring them to us, and for them to be able to be open. And for example, DJ Vaza said that, MC Vaz, not DJ, she said she's a single mom, and so having raising a boy, you know, it can be difficult. I'm not saying I raised boys single, but I was also a military wife, and my husband was away a lot. And I know moments I was like, I wish your dad was here. You know, when they go that age of 12, 13, 14, they're finding themselves, and you as a mother, you're also finding yourself as a mother in their life, and what you bring, how far do you need to step back, you know? And I wish your dad was here. So where are those community spaces where even if a dad is not around, they can still go and find Uncle Eddie, you know, and Uncle Eddie is helping them. Let's build those spaces. Let's create those spaces. Also, representation matters. Black therapists, mentors, and teachers show them that they understood. My husband usually says, you're doing a lot, but we have to do this. We have to go and represent. That is why I am the safeguarding. I had a meeting the other day, and this little boy just kept following me. Of course, safeguarding. Hi. But when I went to the head teacher, she said, this openness in health. Another thing, I'm almost finishing, we need to model emotional honesty. Adults, especially men, should model vulnerability. Let them see that strength and softness cannot coexist. I have a thing that we train ourselves, John and I, in our house. We are vulnerable with our children. We are honest with our children. In our lives, we've made mistakes. We don't lie about that. We are honest, especially things like financials, our marriage, our teenage, our youth, But we always say, if I knew, I wouldn't have done this, blah, 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 blah. We are honest. We don't act like we're not human beings, we're robots, and we've all got it together. No. We don't, because we haven't. It's a lie, So let us also be vulnerable with them. Be vulnerable with our young boys. Show them that sometimes we make mistakes, but when we make mistakes, we rise from them. And let us watch how we handle pain. How do we handle others when we're in painful situations? Or how is our pain? Do we mask it? Do we show them that it's okay? Pain comes. This is how we deal with pain. Such things. So the bigger picture is, when black boys are emotionally supported, and I'll say even boys are emotionally supported and affirmed, they rise above silence and shame, because shame is a very big thing that we deal with, especially in counseling. A lot, a lot of shame. They rise above silence and shame. They lead with empathy. That's the thing I was talking about. You're a dad to girls who are emotions, but you can't show your emotions. They love without fear. They grow with confidence and self-awareness. So as I close, I'll say, supporting the emotional health of our boys isn't just about preventing harm. It's about helping them thrive. It's about letting them know they are loved, they are seen, they are affirmed, and allowed to be fully human. Thank you very much.
Very organized. That was great. I liked all the points, I'm sure. Some of them, were personal to me as well. And because I run a care agency and we specialize with people with mental health, learning disability and autism, I find that the black boy mental health is always frowned upon. And looked as you're lazy or you're drugs or something like that. But when you're of different race, you're allowed to have mental health issues. You're allowed to be autistic. You're allowed to be disabled. But when you're black, and I think sometimes it's up to us as well to actually speak up and say, tell you what, I'm going through something, and to recognize when our husbands, friends, partners, boys are going through that. And I think it's still huge, even now with education and everything, it's still quite huge. And we struggle in our industry recognizing the young boy who's got mental health, because even the family are in denial that it's happening. So I think that's also huge. I'm going to call upon Mara now to say a few words and give her a round of applause.
Wow. I think what everyone has said is so powerful. So my name is Mara, everyone, for those who don't know me. I know a couple of people keep calling me Lady Mayor. But just to say, I'm no longer the mayor. I was, so now I'm former mayor. Am I the rest one? Right, okay, yes. So for me personally, what I would say is everyone so far who has spoken, you've covered everything that I would have said myself. As a mom of 4 boys, I feel one of the through my own experience, currently especially with the economic crisis, a lot of parents are working. So when you're a working parent, that means you're missing out of your own child's life. So we are almost like absent parents, really. We are there, they've got food, they've got shelter, but they're not emotional support. We are not there to support them. I grew up in Africa, and the system there, the way it's designed, you will always find somewhere to go or someone to talk to. You've got aunties, you've got uncles, you've got grandparents. And so if your parents are not available, you've got somewhere to go. But for example, my own family here, my children, It's just my husband and my children. We don't have extended families where if I'm not available, I would say my child can go and see their aunt or their uncle. Earlier, the NC did say that it takes a community to raise a child. So the African system, the way it's designed, it's if your parents are not available, if your aunties or your uncles are not available, you still got your community where you can go to. I remember when I was growing up, sometimes I'll go and talk to the ladies next door. Sometimes we'll have like in the evening gathering where it's all girls. This is in Tambed, where because usually these activities are well known in the villages in Africa. But I grew up in town. I was born in town, so it's actually with a lot of communities. It's unusual to see that kind of support where you have girls or boys gathering in the evening with neighbors, supporting emotionally or with anything for our children is available. But I think for our young boys especially, because they are outside of their normal culture, that way we grew up. So everything here, we are in the Western countries, so everything is going to be a struggle for them. It was easier for us, but for our children, it's going to be a struggle. So we as a community, we need to find ways of helping our young children, because we know what's happening and we know how we can help them and what to do to support the young children, the young people. Yeah. So unless we come together and work together as a community, it's going to be ongoing. It's going to be difficult for our children to come out of those struggles. So what I would like to suggest is maybe carrying on from today, those who got resources, those who got time, or those who are willing to support our young boys, because it seems like most issues, especially within the Black community, are around young boys. That's why, again, we decided to have a discussion about young boys. Because also the culture here, a lot of it doesn't help our young boys. It's because in most families, especially the Black family, our young boys are told, don't trust the police, because they're going to stop you no matter what, even if you don't have anything to hide. So when they come to you, just tell them to get lost. I've heard people saying things like that, but it doesn't help, even though I know it's not being done from a bad space. Maybe these parents, that's their own way of trying to empower their boys, but again, at the same time, it's not really what they need. I think what we need to do is to really try and guide them. First of all, they need to be kind people. They need to be part of the community by behaving well. But then when it comes to authorities like the police, because they are the ones where the relationship with our young boys is a bit strange. Just to maybe if we are able to set up a group, maybe to even bring the police and talk to our young boys and to help them how we can relate with the police out there. Through my work in the community, I sometimes work with the police or have conversation with police, and I ask them about what are they doing to create or have a good relationship with our young boys. Some of the police, I know, again, because of the cards and everything, it's difficult. They don't have enough officers to go there. But sometimes what they're doing to try and help the situation is visiting schools and talk to the children. Or sometimes some of the police officers said, we visited some of the schools during playtime, and while the boys are playing football in the playground, they join in playing football. So that way it's like creating a normal relationship between police and young boys. So if they then meet the police in the streets, they are going to say, I know them, they are not going to harm me. But if there's not that relationship created between the community and the police especially, Whenever our young boys see the police, they just turn the other way, or they don't want to talk to them, even though they've nothing to hide. I know the culture where black men especially are mostly being stopped by the police. It's most of the time it's in London. But when you hear people in London talking about those things, when we are out here in Farnborough or in Aldershot, where that culture doesn't really exist as much. If our young boys talk to people from London and say, oh yeah, the police will always stop you just because of your skin color, they're going to think that is going to happen to them as well. So it has to, I think it has to take us as a community and also as parents to try and guide our boys to say, you know what, yes, this is happening in other areas. It hasn't happened to you. Let's try and find a way where we can create that relationship. Maybe even our young boys, as Vika mentioned earlier, that we need to empower children because we have leaders, we have young boys who are so talented who can do other things. So maybe to even encourage our young boys to say, why not get together with your friends and set up a group where you can work with the police. Maybe you can invite them to some of your talks so you can create that relationship, because I think if our young boys create that relationship with the police especially, it's going to be easy for them to work with the police or to do things where they won't feel like they're being suspected every time, that when they're walking the street, the police are already suspecting, or you've got something in your pocket that you're not supposed to have, or you're driving a nice car and I'm sure it's not yours, or just anything really, which in a way it is damaging our children's emotions, but at the same time, as I keep saying, it's us, the community, who need to take it upon ourselves to try and find ways of helping these young boys and build that relationship within the community and with everyone else as well. So I don't have anything else to add, but everyone else who made some comments, they are really powerful, and thank you so much for your contributions. I don't know if anyone else in the audience would like to say anything. Do you have any experience with young boys, black boys? Would you like to say something?
Just thank you for. Yes, I know there's competition because there's a whole another thing going on now. So there would have been more people, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
Thank
Yes.
you. We wanted to come and listen.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for coming to support. Pastor Cummings, you want to say something?
Just really, really quickly. Just
Yeah,
really
come on, you can say as much as you like.
We'll go that far.
I think you need to stop.
Stand
Yeah.
One of the things that I've noticed, as I said, my history is I was born and raised in London in 2009. And one of the things that I valued when I came up here, and I think only black men would appreciate this, is the value of the nod. Do you know what I'm talking about, the nod? You see, I don't think black women have the nod. But as guys, we have the nod. I tell you, you could be walking along, going out, and see, Victor is funny because he knows exactly what I mean. You could be walking somewhere, particularly this will happen in areas where we are few in number as black people. You see another black person, another black guy, and your eyes will catch and you just go. And that nod said a lot. That nod said, I see you, black man. I recognize that we're in this together. I recognize that we're few in number, but we're still united. I remember, because I have family in London, I used to go back to London, you know, now and again. And because I was so used to nodding to my people here, I went down to London and I would nod. And I'd say, black man. I was like, why are you nodding at me? Why are you? And I realized that when we are few in number, we as black men, we do have this sense of wanting to know each other. And one of the challenges, I think, that as this community, Afro-Caribbean community, has grown, because I've been in there 16 years, I've seen the Afro-Caribbean community grow in Rushmoor. as the community has grown, I think we've moved away from that. Certainly as black men, because sometimes I could try and instigate a noise, and it doesn't come back because who knows? And maybe in a few years, well, I'm just getting on with my life. I don't need this black unity thing. And I think as black men, we need to get back to acknowledging one another and saying that we're in this together. The other thing that I think is really, really important, my son went to a primary school up here, as my daughter went to secondary school. I have, my wife works within the education system, and I have connection to do some work with one PRU in Aldershot and with Ashman School. I cannot remember the last time I saw a black male teacher. And I think that is a big problem. When I was growing up in primary school, I had a teacher, I remember his name to this day, Mr. Roseman. Mr. Roseman was one of the coolest black teachers, coolest teachers will stop. And as a young black boy, I looked up and said, I want to be Mr. Roseman. Because I recognized people liked him, he was an excellent teacher. He was able to, he always had a big smile, he was from Trinidad. And everybody wanted Mr. Roseman as a teacher. And as a young black boy growing up, that's something that I can say, yeah, he set the standard, he set an example. I think we need to encourage our young people, especially our young black boys, teach. Go to university, get your education, and go back to schools and teach, because there's going to be young black boys who can look up to you and say, I want to be like you, because you've influenced my life. Thank you.
I just want to add quickly from when you spoke about pastor. I moved to England in 2002, and obviously there's quite a few black people around. We said the black nod. And then a year later, I went to Brixton. Yeah, I think my head was going to fall off because it was black people everywhere. So yeah, I think that's a very good point. I just want to add on to that.
Okay. Right, maybe we can start from today to note. Can we try that? Let's note. Yeah, I think what's been said today, considering the Black History Month 2025 theme, standing firm, empowered pride, this is very empowering, especially for our young boys. And I wish we had young boys. I know we've got a couple back there. But I think this topic it resonates with this year's theme, and I think it's now time for us as a community to come together, work together, find ways of building those pathways for our young boys to follow, and they will be teachers tomorrow if we start teaching them today. So thank you so much for your ears. I'll pass it back to our MC. Thank you. Maybe before I sit down, young people, would you like to say something? Would you like to share any experiences? I think it would be nice to hear from you.
Kate?
Sorry to put you on the spot, but I know you don't want to put on the spot, but yeah, fine. We are in it together.
Yeah.
Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to everyone for coming, and thank you to everyone who spoke on behalf of the Black Boys and everything. So what I wanted to say that growing up, at first you're told that you're a boy, you need to be strong. You should not show any form of weakness or anything. Then as you continue to grow, you get to a point where your parents, they tell you that now you're not just a boy, you're a black boy. So there are certain things that you do, certain things that you don't do. There's a way that you need to act and a way that you aren't supposed to act, because I feel like being back home in Zimbabwe, I was starting to open up, because being told that you're a black boy and that there's a certain way you need to act, it kind of puts you on a straight line. You're just told that you're supposed to go this way, this is how it works, you can't do anything else. So when I came here and now I'm with my aunt, you learn that, there are many ways to get to where you want to go, to be who you want to be. But now, for so long, you've just been on that straight line, and it's hard to try and do something else. So I think it's very nice that you came, that you all came to try and support the black boys, because honestly, it's very hard. It is, because I understand that there are certain cliches or biases that, even myself, you just look at someone, then as friends, you just tell each other that, guys, let's not do this, because as a black boy people already assume that there's one day you're just gonna do drugs. It's inevitable. One day you're just gonna do this, you're gonna do that. So in life, it's just about fighting against things like that. Because the moment you slip up, there are people waiting to point a finger at you that, you did it, we knew that you were gonna do it, and you did it. You probably fought for a long time, but we knew that you were gonna slip up anyway. So yeah. Just gonna keep working hard to prove all of the cliches wrong. So yeah, thank you.
By the way, he's Ryan, and he's only been in the country for 2 months. Not even a month. He studied nursing, mental health nursing at Surrey University. So yeah, it's very difficult for him, because watching him grow up, he was such a funny boy and such a comedian, but because of, he's expected to be this person, he just cocooned himself a bit. And when he moved with me, I said to him, boy, you can be whoever you want to be, choose, at least as long as you make the right choice. And he's a Christian boy as well, so that actually helps him to be a bit more grounded. Right, somebody just walked in, and I'm just gonna pass on the microphone.
As well, my name is Reverend Colleen. I was Mara's chaplain for Rushmoor last year, and it was a pleasure and an honor. I got to know many people. I have Pastor Malcolm Cummings. I was talking to him all morning this morning, and as I said, we have my dad there. So, black boys, black people on the whole, really. I was thinking about that today. Sorry, you want me here? Okay. It's going to cost you, though. I was really meditating on this, reflecting on it, and it just hit me that I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. When we look at how far we have come as a people, I am living the dream that they dreamt about. When we look at black boys, any boys for that matter now, it's not just about the boy, it's about us. What are we showing them? For difference to be made, it must be made starting with us. So we want let's celebrate that boy's wins. Any boy, let's celebrate their wins, because that person is going to be tomorrow's father. It's going to be tomorrow's husband. So we be the mentor in their lives. Me and you. Not just looking to the sports stars, they're good, but how often can they pick up a phone and talk to someone? I'm not feeling well in my head. My thoughts are not positive. I'm not feeling worthy. So all of us in this room has to take on that responsibility of being mentors today for tomorrow's future. Because every boy you see is a potential husband, a potential father, a potential leader. And we all know them. But what I find is that we judge before we take the time to ask, what is wrong? We see a person behaving negatively, and immediately we judge. We judge before we love. We judge before we communicate with them. So every great change starts small. And it must start with us. So I train my girls, I've got 4 girls. It's a busy day in my house on a Saturday. You know Don King with the hair, the boxing promoter. In my house every weekend, we're all Don Kings walking around. And I train them to be who they would love to be friends with. If you wouldn't be friends with yourself, then don't be that way. So all of us here, have to be the mentors of today's people tomorrow. We have to do it now. Not the movie stars. Because what we see is polished and produced. Us. And how do we do that? By speaking to them. Telling them, yes, you mess up, but we can still fix this. That is not how you say that. And what I like, that is not how you wear that. Don't wear it like that. And I say to them, look, if when you bend to touch your toes, I can see other places, it's not correct. And it all matters. So we start with that conversation, and it starts with us. So tell the person next to you, you be the mentor. You be. See, you're not even talking to yourself. You have to talk to yourself. For it to work, we have to talk. So you be that mentor. And then it makes sense, isn't it? Be the mentor. See that person and have that conversation. So, again I say, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. I make no apology about it. Being colored, because I'm not black, I'm colored. Being colored in some places, it's not a novelty, it's cruelty. But for me, being black in England is a novelty. Yes. I work in a school, and when I went there, this little boy, he put his hand on my face and he did this. And he looked at it. I was rolling on the floor laughing. But that is curiosity. Yeah. That is him being curious. Another child bit my hand. I said, no, darling, I'm sweet, but you won't taste it. Gently nibble. I don't blame them. If I wasn't me, I would want to eat me too. So, do you understand the importance of that conversation? You be that role model to that child. Any child. Any child. Any child. Now that is my little bit. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. You know, I've had children also rub my hand thinking, you know, does it come off? And going back, and going back to what you said about the nod, what I love about black men in Aldershot, they actually say, good afternoon when they see a black lady. They don't just nod, they say, hello darling, you look gorgeous today, or something like that. So it's really, really nice, you know, that we get that in the community. So next on our program, is there anybody who wants to say something before I go? Yeah? So I think in the meantime, because we're going to get to the dance, we're going to get a dance shortly, so we're going to get entertainment. So can we have some music in the background while they get prepared? We've got a great entertainment.
Was he not speaking?
Anyone else wants to speak?
No, DJ.
Did you want to speak?
Yeah. You want to say something?
Can we all stand up and dance? Yeah. Can we all stand up and do a little boogie? Boogie woogie?
second off, one over there, one there. And they are all at 19 degrees anyway, so that's it.
Okay.
But when this is on, it won't be as
Well, at least
hot.
we know for tomorrow morning. Did I say it was FOMO? I got muddled up. It's not FOMO tomorrow, is it?
No, it is potentially Anu sharing with us. Anu is Ravi's wife from Nepal.
Yeah.
You need to check with Owen which side of the screen. This is fabulous. I said to Neil and
Did you listen to the talks?
No, I only came an hour ago.
They're so wise, just so much wisdom.
Oh.
It's just absolutely lovely.
Do you think it was recorded?
Yes, it was all live, so they should get the recording. I'll ask him actually.
This will do wonders for the community. Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. Thanks for coming. What a lovely occasion of Rushmoor Cultural Day. And today, I'm from Nepal and I'm from the Nepal community. And I have Pasaposa Bhuti UK, who is very rich in culture, and we are here representing Nime.
Ah!